and technologies of the company than the people in any church I'd ever seen. And the hope of an IPO was far more tangible and motivational than any ethereal imaginings of heaven as portrayed by the Christian world. Much of the time I worked with really good people, mature, admirable people of character who worked hard to contribute significantly to the world and who didn't seem to need church or the Jesus of the Bible to do it. I learned great lessons about joy at work, patience and hope, teamwork and truth-telling from people who didn't share my faith. My staff who went away for a meditation weekend seemed to come back more refreshed than those who worshipped together on Sunday at a Christian evangelical church. I started to see my work more as a crucible where God was pounding and grinding and refining me, rather than as a place where I was actively and effectively serving Him. I believed in the truth of the gospel, that God created all things, and created man in His image, and then sent His Son to redeem all things that had been broken. And I believed God had a purpose for me as a worker and leader, along with many other people who could make a positive difference in the world. But in the competitive win-at-all-costs workplace where I had to manage and lead, I had no idea how to live out God's plan. Outside of Redeemer, the churches I found didn't seem to offer much guidance on how I should do this. Most pastors were more concerned about helping us serve inside the church than about disciplining and equipping us to serve in the world. In the boom times of Silicon Valley in the late 1990s, many congregations seemed oblivious to any brokenness in the world or in themselves. Many who cared deeply about the poor didn't think about how the systems, structures, and cultures of our industries might actually be contributing to the fractures in our culture. Living out my faith in my work seemed relegated to small symbolic gestures, to self-righteous abstinence from certain behaviors, and to political alignments on the top cultural and legal issues of the day. The last company I led provided a remarkable leadership experience. I took over from the founder, who had wooed most of the staff and early customers to a wonderful vision of product innovation and IPO riches. In early 2000, we were being fought over by investment banks that courted us with potential IPO valuations of $200 to $350 million. We didn't yet have products, but several were in beta mode with early adopters. My job was to win the trust of the staff, investors, and customers while rolling out products that delivered on our promises and raising new money to get us to break even. There was pressure every day to make progress in all these areas. In the process, I thought desperately about how the gospel should enter into all this. Here are some of the observations I made at the time. 1. The gospel assures me that God cares about everything I do and will listen to my prayers. He may not answer them the way I want, but if He doesn't, it is because He knows things I do not. My degree of success or failure is part of His good plan for me. God is my source of strength and perseverance. 2. The gospel reminds us that God cares about the products we make, the companies we work for, and the customers we serve. He not only loves us, but also loves the world and wants us to serve it well. My work is a critical way in which God is caring for human beings and renewing His world. God gives us our vision and our hope. 3. The gospel is good news. In the words of pastor and counselor Jack Miller, "Cheer up! You're a worse sinner than you ever dared imagine, and you're more loved than you ever dared hope." In other words, I will continually err and sin, and yet God will prevail in my life through His goodness and grace. 4. The gospel gives meaning to our work as leaders. We're supposed to treat all people and their work with dignity. We're to create an environment in which people can flourish and use their God-given gifts to contribute to society. We're to embody grace, truth, hope, and love in the organizations we create. And 5. We're to express our relationship with God and His grace to us in the way we speak, work, and lead. Not as perfect exemplars.